Strong ground shaking begins without warning as stress built over decades suddenly releases beneath the surface. The ground shifts violently. Standing becomes difficult. People lose balance instantly, some falling, others grabbing onto anything stable. Buildings respond under pressure. Walls crack open. Glass shatters across rooms. Alarm systems activate across entire areas, overlapping into sharp noise that fills the air. The shaking continues longer than expected. Energy moves through the ground in waves, forcing everything above it to react. Then, it stops. For a moment, nothing moves. People step outside, assuming the main danger has passed. Streets begin to fill as individuals scan their surroundings, unaware that the initial rupture has already triggered something larger. Far out in the Pacific, the seafloor has shifted upward by several meters. That sudden displacement forces a massive volume of water to rise. A disturbance forms. Then grows. It accelerates across the ocean, gaining speed and height as it approaches land. Warning systems activate, but the gap is short. A phone keeps ringing somewhere inside a damaged building. No one answers. Then, the water arrives. It pushes inland with force, flooding roads, buildings, and infrastructure. Vehicles lift. Structures break apart. The movement continues forward, carrying everything with it as the next phase begins. The Tōhoku coastline stretches along the Pacific, where fishing towns, residential streets, and agricultural land exist in close balance with the sea. Boats move in and out of harbors. Roads connect quiet communities. Life follows a steady rhythm shaped by routine. Preparedness is built into that rhythm. Buildings are reinforced to withstand seismic force. Public drills repeat throughout the year. Early warning systems monitor constantly, designed to react before people even feel movement. Seawalls stand between land and ocean. Concrete barriers built to reduce incoming waves. They wait, silent, against calm water. Everything appears controlled. Schools remain open, offices operate normally, trains run on schedule through cities like Sendai and Ishinomaki. Beneath this stability, the Pacific Plate continues moving under the Japanese landmass. Slowly, constantly. Pressure builds along deep tectonic boundaries over decades. No visible sign appears above ground. The energy has nowhere to go. It accumulates. A strain held for years approaches its limit. A clock without sound reaches its final second. On March 11, 2011, nothing at the surface suggests what is coming next, but below, the system is already set to release. At 2:46 p.m., the locked boundary finally breaks. A magnitude 9.0 rupture tears through the seafloor, about 70 kilometers east of the Oshika Peninsula, releasing energy built over decades. The ground responds instantly. Shockwaves spread across northeastern Japan, shaking cities like Sendai with sustained force. Buildings sway under pressure, their reinforced structures absorbing part of the energy instead of collapsing. For a brief moment, systems react faster than people. Early warning signals travel through networks seconds ahead of peak motion. Trains begin to slow and stop. Industrial systems shut down automatically, preventing further damage. Then the strongest shaking arrives. People drop into position. Under desks. Against solid surfaces. They hold steady as the motion continues longer than expected. Then, it fades. For a moment, it feels like release. But beneath the ocean, the shift has already triggered something larger. The seafloor rises several meters, forcing an enormous volume of water upward. A new force forms. Tsunami waves begin spreading outward at speeds reaching 800 kilometers per hour. Warnings are issued, but the scale is still hidden, moving silently toward the shore. Within 30 to 40 minutes, the ocean reaches land. What began as a distant surge now rises along the coastline. Water pulls back briefly, exposing seabed, then returns with force. The wave moves forward. Fast. Seawalls are overtopped. Some are bypassed entirely. The The height exceeds what they were built to contain. Water spills over and keeps going. Sirens continue to sound, but time compresses. People move toward higher ground. Cars fill narrow roads. Movement slows as congestion builds. A child cries for someone who cannot answer. Then the water arrives fully. It carries everything: vehicles, wood, steel, entire sections of buildings. Each object adds force as it strikes structures ahead. Neighborhoods begin to vanish beneath the flow. Streets disappear. Houses shift from foundations. At Sendai Airport, runways are covered within minutes. Aircraft sit surrounded by moving water. Operations stop instantly. Fields turn into wide, flooded zones. Agricultural land is erased under a moving surface. Communication begins to break. Signals drop. Coordination fades. Another wave follows. Then, another. Each one pushes further inland, expanding reach and deepening destruction as the coastline continues to collapse under pressure. At peak impact, the coastline gives way completely. Waves rise higher as they move inland, in some areas exceeding 10 meters. Water spreads across entire districts, covering land in minutes. Ships are lifted from harbors and pushed deep into populated zones. They collide with buildings, crushing structures on impact and sending debris further ahead. Roads and highways vanish beneath water and wreckage. Access routes collapse. Movement stops across wide areas. The current intensifies. Vehicles, steel, wood, and broken structures move together. The force pulls people into its path, leaving little chance to resist. A phone keeps ringing in the water, its screen lighting up beneath the surface. Visibility drops as sediment and debris fill the flow. Hazards appear without warning, making every second unpredictable. Ryo Ishikawa climbs onto the roof of a 2-story house in Kesennuma as water surrounds him. He looks down at his mother trapped below. "Hold on," he shouts. The next surge hits the structure with full force. The house collapses under pressure. Ryo is later confirmed dead, found days after the water receded. At Fukushima Daiichi, seawater floods the plant. Backup generators fail. Cooling systems shut down. Heat builds rapidly inside the reactors. Explosions follow. Radiation risks spread outward. Emergency teams respond across multiple fronts, facing a disaster that continues to expand beyond control. The impact on people spreads instantly as water moves through residential zones, forcing displacement without warning. Homes are abandoned mid-moment. Doors left open as streets turn into fast-moving channels. Families separate during evacuation. Routes close. Visibility drops. Communication breaks. People lose contact within minutes as systems fail under pressure. Some are carried by the current, along with debris. Vehicles and fragments of buildings move around them. Each second becomes a struggle to reach anything stable. A voice calls out across the water, fading as distance grows. Reports of missing individuals rise quickly. Confirmed deaths follow as recovery teams begin searching through affected areas. Entire communities face sudden loss. Evacuation centers open in schools and public buildings. Crowds gather inside limited spaces. Food and medical care are distributed under strained conditions. In Fukushima, evacuation zones expand due to radiation concerns. Movement continues away from affected regions. Recovery begins slowly, but disruption remains, leaving lives permanently altered long after the water recedes. In the days that follow, movement returns in a different form as rescue operations begin across the devastated coastline. Teams move through debris fields because entire neighborhoods have been erased, calling out and listening for any sign of life beneath collapsed structures. Medical units set up in open areas, treating injuries as access slowly improves. Roads are cleared in sections, allowing equipment and supplies to move deeper into affected regions. A siren echoes through an empty town. No one responds. International aid arrives as the scale becomes undeniable. Resources expand. Coordination grows. Entire areas require reconstruction, from housing to transport systems and public infrastructure. At Fukushima, the crisis forces global attention on nuclear safety. Systems are reviewed. Risk strategies are rewritten. Early warning technology improves because seconds matter. Preparedness evolves because failure is costly. Conditions stabilize over time. But the damage remains embedded in land and memory. What shifted in minutes continues to reshape lives for generations.